my friends, how you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a fresh episode of FM22's The Hall of Famer. The end of season 15 is linked above. Feel free to go and check it out. Now today, I'm kind of left with no choice but to do things a little bit differently because I forgot to record a few of the games. So we're going to be doing season 16 in one extra long episode. We're basically going to cover absolutely everything that happened in season 16, and then for season 17 I'll bring it back with the usual format. I just essentially forgot to record a few things, and my save points have been a bit strange as well, so yeah, just stick with me, gang. Anyway, lots to talk about. The club team is going well, and we're also a national team manager. Yeah, let's do it. So, we are now England manager as well as West Ham United manager. Now, I know that not many managers through the test of time have been able to manage both teams at the same, but I'm trying to get to the top of the Hall of Fame, and so I'm just going to make my time and my job in football extra difficult by taking on England as well. Now, England have been perennial underachievers in this FM universe, which is very odd to say because they're usually very overpowered in Football Manager, but they've not won anything. Zinedine Zidane was the manager. He's just finished third at the World Cup. He then decided to step down. I believe he's gone to take the France job. He became available. I approached them, had the interview, and they basically gave me the keys to the castle, £100,000 a week, and they've basically said, go out there and get stuff done. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a good time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, the talent pool isn't that deep and it isn't that good. The regens have not been there this time around, so it's going to be a tough job. We've got the UEFA Nations League coming up, and as and when we go through fixtures, I'll be updating you on England as well as West Ham from now on. But we now head back to West Ham. Let's see how our summer transfer window panned out. So in this summer transfer window, there was lots of outs and very few ins. I feel like we've kind of built the squad into a point where we can rely on some of the youngsters coming through. There was a very big transfer though, by way of a very decent player, but it's good money made and it means that our balance is very nice. And with the club having just purchased the stadium, it really helps. Yes, that was the big thing that the club did this over the last year or so. So players going out, the first one was that of Pavel Pesha. He was our backup goalkeeper. He wanted first team football. I can't give it to him. £10 million. Thank you, Leeds. We basically get a return on our investment. We will absolutely take that. As far as other players this season, we've got Lockman's gone out on a free and a bunch of youngsters have gone out on loan. Samina has gone out on loan. Nichols has gone out on loan. We've got Simitas, Sibson, Wickenden, Robinson and Nijman all gone out on loan. There's a few names I didn't mention there because they are new signings. As far as players going out, we've got Dan Wright leaving to go to Everton. He was a youngster. He was developing nicely, but last year of his contract, Everton kind of unsettled him. We've got anyone else that's not really... Alberto Folletti went to Leicester for 650k. And then we've got some bigger transfers. So Pier Francesco Papa's gone back to Italy. He's back at Inter Milan. I was umming and ahhing if I was going to sell him anyway. I decided to sell him. He wasn't transfer listed. They just came in with an £80 million bid. And we'd only paid 55 of the potential 70. I thought it was too good to turn down. He had a couple of half-decent seasons with us, but last year he only made 9 starts in the Premier League. And I felt like the money we were paying him, 140 grand a week, it was just too much money, basically, for someone to be sitting on the bench for more than half the season. So he is gone. He is now an intimate Lan player. The next few are youngsters. We've got Edwin Rodas. He was bought in a while back. You will see we bought him in for just 725k. We sell him on for just over 20 million. I just don't think Edwin Rodas was going to be a first team regular. He's a good player, and maybe a few years ago he might have been, but you look at the team we've got now and he's just not going to get in now. So he goes off. We've also got Peleg Sebag. Was one I was really excited about when I signed him, and it just didn't really happen. And he was going into the last year of his deal. Southampton came in with a really good £28 million bid, and so I took it. We didn't pay a lot for him, £2 million. So yeah, we've made a very good chunk of change on the Israeli. And then the last one is Reyes, who I'm the most gutted about because he's a Peruvian attacking midfielder and I just wanted it to work. I really wanted it to work and it didn't. And he's gone to Celtic. He's had a few good loan spells, to be fair to him, and now gets a move to Scotland where it started really, really well. £28 million. We will take that. For those three youngsters that we barely paid £5 million for, we have just made nearly 70 million on them. So there you go. That's basically what you got to do sometimes in football. And then the last one we're going to talk about is one that might surprise a lot of you, especially those that have been with me the whole time. This is a player we've all fallen in love with. It's Yaya Tunk, who we bought from is it Trabzonspor? Yes, for 15.75 million all those years ago. Became a mainstay in the team, and he goes to Hertha Berlin for 115 million. It's basically West Ham's B team, Hertha Berlin. They've got a lot of players there that once played for us. I didn't realise how many players I'd sold to them, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think it's getting on for 6 players now. About 115 million. And he wanted to go. He basically asked for a new challenge and refused to sign a new contract. And with 18, I think it was 18 months left or something on the deal, I think it would have been silly to keep him around. Unhappy. So he's earning big money. He had potential to go to Bayern Munich, but chose Hertha Berlin. So yeah, we wish Yaya Tunk all the best. I'm now going to head over to the fixtures. And you're going to see that obviously the first 2 games I've failed to record are, of course, the FA Community Shield and the UEFA Super Cup. I've also missed another final. I've only got 2 games I'm going to show you today. That's because I'm that much of a wally. So yeah, I don't know why, because I think it's just the way I do things now, condensing the season down to 3 parts. And I just forgot myself during this season. So yeah, I'm going to just do it as highlight packages. First 2 games of the season, we had a 2-1 win in the FA Community Shield against Newcastle, and these are the goals. This is how it went. As you can see, it was a pretty even game. Newcastle on top of that possession, but we basically just scored them with our shot count anyway, so we were potentially always going to score more goals. Good ball into the box, and Zakina arriving from late with the header. And then the second goal is Nicholas Wright again driving up that wing into Cruz, who digs the ball out for Sabanda. It's a really, really good goal. An hour into the game though, and Newcastle decided to make their comeback with some nice passing play on the edge of the box, and then Marcella running through and scoring the consolation goal it proved. And yeah, we lifted another trophy. We then played Hertha Berlin of all teams in the UEFA Super Cup, and it was a 1-0 victory. Sabanda with the only goal of the game, and it was set up by the marvellous man in the middle, that Kabamba, who is going to very much take Yaya Tunk's place now this season. As you can see, some smart play from Makoko into Kabamba, and then Sabanda just has the easiest task to slot past the on-rushing goalkeeper. The rest of the games that were played in the month of August finished with a 4-2 win against Leeds and a 6-1 against Brighton. 10 goals scored in the opening 2 games of the Premier League season. Pretty ridiculous. We head over to the competitions panel. You see we've got those 2 trophies in the bag. Still in with a chance at the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, and the UEFA Champions League group has been drawn. Barcelona, Nimes and Galatasaray are in our group stage this coming season. The Premier League, we are obviously top after 2 games played, but as far as the season preview is concerned, you will see we are favourites to win it again with a bunch of players in that potential dream team. What we're going to do now is move on forward, gang, to the end of December. I'm going to show you how the fixtures have gone, and then we're going to move this all the way on to the end of the season, and we'll catch up with what's happened in all the other big finals. So we have now played on all the way to the end of January, my friends, and this is how it has basically gone up until that point. So in the month of September, you will see we played a total of 4 Premier League fixtures. We started it with a 2-0 win against Sheffield United, a 3-0 against Tottenham, a 2-2 against Everton, even though they had a man sent off in the 55th minute, a 1-0 against Stoke. And then in the cup competitions, we played our first game in the UEFA Champions League group stages, a 3-2 victory, a Paria to the rescue for West Ham. And then in the EFL Cup third round, we beat Fleetwood by a measly 1-0. Then we moved on to the month of October, and you will see 2 Champions League ties, 3 Premier League ties, and its wins all round. In the Champions League, it was a 6-0 victory against Barcelona, incredibly, absolutely put to the sword with a hat-trick for Youssef Moukoko. A 4-1 then against Nimes followed with Pereira, Noble, Coates and Sabanda on the score sheet. Wolves, Crystal Palace and Southampton were met by the sword of West Ham. 1-0 against Wolves, 3-0 against Crystal Palace and a 1-0 against Southampton. We move on into the month of November where a bunch of games have been played once again. In the cup competitions, we had 2 Champions League ties and an EFL fourth round cup tie. We had Aston Villa 3-0 victory in this one. Then we had Nimes with a 3-1 victory. We had Barcelona and it was a 3-2 defeat in the game. Very important tie for Barcelona in the end. In the Premier League, it was 3 games played, 2 wins and a draw. 4-0 against Aston Villa and then it was a 1-1 against Arsenal and then a 2-1 against Liverpool. We move into the month of December and lots of games always get played. We had a 1-0 start in the Premier League against Newcastle and then it was followed up by 2 draws in the Premier League. A 2-2 against West Brom. You will see they scored an equaliser in the 93rd minute and then against Manchester City the game was over in the first 10 minutes, a 1-1 draw. Then we met Bournemouth, a 1-0 win. We had Watford, a 5-1 win. Kabamba, Pereira and Sabanda on the score sheet. Manchester United then succumbed to a 4-0 defeat against us as well with Kabamba and Moukoko getting braces. We finished off our Champions League group stage with a 4-0 victory against Galatasaray and we followed that up in another cup with a 3-1 quarter-final win against Chelsea. Into the month of January now, and this is where we secured our first cup final spot this season. You're going to see we beat Crystal Palace by 3-0. We beat Wolves by 5-2, a 4-3 win against Aston Villa, a 5-0 against Southampton. We've just had our first defeat of the season in the league against Manchester United, and then in the cups, you will see we had a FA Cup third round win against Portsmouth, Pereira with a hat-trick, and then we had a 2-2 against Manchester City in the first leg of the EFL Cup semi-final, and then we beat them in the second leg by 3-0, booking ourselves a final against Manchester United in March. As a result of all this, at the end of January, this is how everything's looking. We've drawn at Juventus in the next round of the Champions League. We've got a cup final to look forward to against Manchester United, and as far as the Premier League is concerned, it's 23 games played, 18 wins, 4 draws and 1 defeat, but we are 14 points away from our nearest rivals in Tottenham Hotspur. The top 4 looks very interesting this season, and the bottom 3 basically as expected. We're now going to move on to the end of the season, my friends. And now, barring the 2 cup finals we have booked ourselves in, the season is complete, and I'm going to cover those 2 cup finals in a moment. But this is how things went on the run-up to that. You're going to see I forgot to record the EFL Cup Final as well, but we were victors, and I'll show you how it went in a moment. Chelsea were the last game in January, though, a 1-0 victory, Reyes nil with the only goal. We moved into the month of February, and it was a lovely, lovely month once again. 2 4-0s in the Premier League against Brighton and Chelsea. Another 4-0 against Leeds. A 2-0 against Watford. And that was followed up by a 3-2 win in the FA Cup fourth round against Aston Villa. And a 1-1 draw against Juve in the first leg of the Champions League. We move into the month of March, and this is when the EFL Cup Final took place. You will see it was a 2-0 victory for West Ham in the final, one that was actually very, very evenly contested. The match goals are as follows, and the scorers were Moukoko and Kabamba. A really good time for West Ham, who remain undefeated whenever they make it to the final of the EFL Cup. It has been my favourite competition to play in during the course of my management at West Ham. The first goal, as you can see, a lovely cross in from Kabamba to Moukoko. Then some really lovely one-touch football from the team. Cruz drives forward, ball into Kabamba. He is not missing from there, and they lift the trophy once again. It's a lovely, lovely time to be a West Ham fan. That trophy cabinet's very, very full. After that, though, we followed it up with a 3-1 win against Tottenham in the FA Cup fifth round. And as far as other cup football's concerned, we then beat Arsenal in the quarterfinals by 2-1, and we finished off Juve after that disappointing first round draw with a 3-1 victory in the second leg of the Champions League. Just the 2 Premier League games, a 5-0 against Bournemouth and a 2-0 against West Bromwich Albion, see us keep up our great Premier League pace. We then move towards the month of April, and it's that really business end of the season now. Premier League, it's a 3-1 against Liverpool. We've got a 3-1 against Arsenal, a 3-1 against Tottenham, and then I was hoping for another 3-1, but it wasn't to be. It was a 0-0 against Tottenham, and I meant a 3-1 against Newcastle. In the Champions League, we drew Bayern Munich, and we see a 4-1 victory in the first leg was a welcome sight, because the second leg, we lost by 2-0. It was 4-3 on aggregate, and it was a bit saucy, this one. Kappa, you will see, was sent off in the first leg. As far as the FA Cup's concerned, we beat Manchester United 1-0 in the semi-final. They must be absolutely sick at the sight of us in the Cups this season. Moving into the month of May and the final month of the season, you will see that we faced Inter Milan in the semi-final. A 3-0 victory in the first leg, a 4-1 in the second leg. That is, ladies and gentlemen, 7-1 on aggregate, and we've booked our place in a Champions League final rather easily. Premier League was seen out with a 2-0 victory against Sheffield United, a 4-0 against Stoke, a 2-2 against Manchester City, and a 4-1 against Everton. We've booked ourselves an FA Cup final. We've booked ourselves a Champions League final. They're coming up right now, and then I'll show you the Premier League table. So here we go, gang, for the first of today's games. And look who it is again. Yes, look who it is again that we are playing in the FA Cup final. It's that bloody team in black and white, Newcastle. And yeah, we're just going to have to hope we can beat Newcastle again. They have been an absolute thorn in our side during the whole course of our time at West Ham, gang. Obviously, after this, you've got a Champions League final to look forward to, and then we're going to talk international football after that, because I've not spoken to you about England and told you how things have been going since my time in charge. And once again, inside 4 minutes, Newcastle take the lead. They absolutely love playing West Ham, don't they? And I'm sick of the sight of them. I just want anybody but Newcastle in the final at the moment. They've taken the lead, and the job's there, and everything it needs to be done by West Ham now. Just moments later, 4 minutes later, and there is another highlight. Newcastle on the attack. West Ham really slow out the blocks in this FA Cup final this season. Lovely ball over the top to Makoko, though, who you would hope would finish, but instead it's a really good save from the Newcastle goalkeeper. Early stages of this one, really entertaining final. One for the neutral, as they would say. Free kick to West Ham, though. Makoko with the ball in. It's out to Novelay. It's then laid off into Boxleitner, who scores a phenomenal curling effort into the bottom corner, past the Newcastle goalkeeper, and nobody was expecting that from the centre-back. What an absolute weldy of a goal on the 11th minute of the game. 1-1, tied up. It's any teams to play for now. And West Ham, though, what a phenomenal effort they have done since I've taken charge. The amount of finals we've got to, and usually when we get to a final, we rarely lose it. I think we've only lost the kind of friendly cup finals, the UEFA Super Cup and the Community Shield. I think all the other finals we've kind of made it to. Pretty sure we got a very good record. We might have lost an FA Cup final actually early on with West Ham, but other than that, we've been pretty good. Call me Jose. He has a very good record in finals, doesn't he? West Ham on the attack again as Nicholas Wright is played through. He's going to have to cut back. He's done well, but Sabanda's header is over the bar 90 minutes into the FA Cup final. Since Newcastle took the lead, they've not really done much. It's very much West Ham's final at the moment statistically, and they're just making the more clear-cut chances in the game. Here's West Ham again as Nicholas Wright picks the ball up. He's tried to float a ball over the top between the defenders. That's not quite come off, and that's not quite happened. Unbelievable stuff by the team. Newcastle through. They hit the post, and that was close. That was real close for Newcastle to go through and get themselves in the lead of the FA Cup final. Nearly at the halfway stage of the first half, 30 minutes into the game, and Newcastle starting to apply a little bit of pressure on top of the possession in this game thus far. My friends, let me know what you make of today's episode in the comment section below. Apologies for having to kind of condense a whole season into one video, but I was left with no choice. We will be doing the next season in maybe 3 or 4 videos so that we can see the series out in the fashion that it deserves. We are only going for one more season, and then I might do a video, a special one that's a bit of a wrap up, so we can take a look at some of our favourite players during the course of the series. Newcastle on the ball, threads it through. The defending is less than desired by West Ham at the moment. Maybe not playing the strongest centre-back partnership, but kind of left with no choice at the later part of this season. I didn't even read the team sheet out to you, but it really is a heavily rotated team, and maybe one that that you wouldn't recognise all that much, gang. But Nicholas Wright floats the ball in. It is Sabanda, is still there, and Ovchinnikov comes up with the goods and makes it 2-1 just before half time. And Insta highlight, Newcastle on the football, straight from kickoff. What's going to happen here? Are we going to nick it and score? Or are Newcastle going to go straight up the other end and score and draw level themselves? With that kind of defending, Mirias is in very easily, but then Diabate with an excellent challenge. Diabate given a big role this season has been absolutely excellent. Sabanda drives forward into Makoko, who chips the keeper, but it hits the post and it's not to be. An unbelievable effort though from the striker. Reyes into Ovchinnikov, ball comes in, it's bobbling around and it's just not to be. Novelay now on the football into Cruz, he comes in and that's not going to go anywhere. Really good first half from West Ham, not a bad first half from Newcastle either. Keeping this one competitive and keeping us on the edge of our seats as we head in to half time. It's going to be a pretty simple half-time team talk and the teams get sent back out. And once again, it's an Insta highlight at the beginning of the second half. Newcastle, though, giving the ball away really early on. Makoko spreads it wide into Nicholas Wright, who drives at his defender. Ball comes in. Sabanda's header is straight at the goalkeeper, and it's an easy save for him. The highlight continues, and does this mean we're going to go up the other end, or West Ham are going to win it back and get another chance? Ovchinnikov plays in Novelay. That's a header from Sabanda. Nothing really coming off this time. Newcastle try to work it forward, but right next to the ball. It's into Novelay again. Straight into Makoko. With pace, over the top, into Ovchinnikov, and it's his turn to hit the post this time around. Gomez, Cruz, Diabate, Boxlight, Narayasha, Novelay, Zakina, Wright, Ovchinnikov, Sabanda, Makoko was the starting lineup for West Ham in this all-important FA Cup final. Ball comes wide to Reyes. This time, Zakina picks up. He drives through. It comes back out wide. Ball in. It was a really odd choice of pass from Ovchinnikov, but we're just defending so much better than Newcastle. Yeah, nicking the balls, and it's marvellous Sabanda with a marvellous long-range effort into the bottom corner. He makes it 3-1 and gives West Ham some all-important breathing room in the FA Cup final. Really turned the cog, haven't we, the screw in the second half, and really asserting our dominance. Ball over the top for Newcastle though, and they're straight back in it through Mirias with a really well taken volley, but again the defending is questionable, and it's kind of been like that all season long for West Ham as the defence has really had a big change up. Injuries, players leaving. It's just been one of those seasons, gang. But it's 3-2. The game is anyone's. That breathing room is gone. And now Newcastle with the football. It's Reyes now. He digs out a cross and it's 3-3. And it's Mariba at the back post. And I am absolutely kicking myself at the time of playing the game. Trust me, I was doing my nut. How have we let a 3-1 lead be surrendered to Newcastle in this fashion? It's just not good enough. We're going to go very attacking. We're going to slam those midfielders, those wingers up, and we're going to see what happens. See if we can attack them with just over 20 minutes to go in the game. It's now Newcastle on the ball again. They are the team with confidence flowing through them. Absolutely cooking on gas they are at the moment. But Nicholas Wright, he goes wide. He finds Makoko, tries to dig the ball back, not to be. He finds Sabanda, who goes down under the challenge. And that's looking as though it's going to be a penalty to West Ham in the final. It's been one for the neutral, but the defending for both managers has less than be desired. Penalty time. It's going to be Makoko to face the goalkeeper, and he slams it into the top corner. It's 4-3, and West Ham are in the lead once again. Unbelievable to fight back once more, but a silly challenge from the defender in the box. Newcastle now, though, trying to build something from the back. They've given the given the possession away though to West Ham as Gomez finds Boxleitner. They're going to have a bit of a mess about at the back, but he does go wide into Reyes. Ball over the top. It's really simple. He finds Ovchinnikov and he drags his shot wide. It really should have been better. Ovchinnikov is going to make way for Rhys Neal, and Novelay is going to make way for Felix Dole, who has been a staple in the team this season. A youngster that was promoted up. I maybe should have shown you the team at the beginning of the year so you could have seen what it was like. But yeah, quite a few youngsters were given a chance after the sale of a few big first team players. Doing the usual tactical work behind the scenes to make sure that we counteract the attack that Newcastle have. And as we are about to head in to the last 10 minutes of this final, it's still West Ham's to lose. 21 shots to their 15. It's been an incredible final and one for the ages. It just seems to be West Ham's way in the FA Cup, doesn't it? To score a bunch of goals. Reyes coming forward. It's now into Sabandar, and it's one of the easiest tap-ins Nicholas Wright's ever going to get in his career, and that has probably won West Ham another FA Cup. It's an incredible goal. Great build-up play. Great awareness from Sabandar. Has 2 assists and a goal on the day. Absolute man of the match performance from him. 85 minutes, not long to go. It's West Ham's to lose. Are they going to beat Newcastle in another final? They took it personally that time that Newcastle beat them, and they've never let them beat them in a final since. 5 minutes of added on time are being played. West Ham with one more attack. Are they going to score another goal? It's up there. It's Nicholas Wright. It's a ball in. Makoko heads it straight at the goalkeeper. It is definitely on for the team to do so, but didn't take the chance. Into the final moment, and that, my friends, is going to be that. FA Cup champions once again. And in this year's Champions League final, West Ham meet bitter rivals Manchester United. Of course they do. The only issue I have with Football Manager is the English teams seem to dominate the European stage so much. I would much prefer to play some big European teams than play Manchester United. Yes, they beat us in the Premier League this season, but we've sort of had their number. Early on though, it was Manchester United on the attack before we nicked the ball. It's into Makoko, lovely feet from him. Kabamba threads through, and Sabanda can't score past the goalkeeper this time. Good start though to the game for West Ham. Ball comes in, header, saved from Vasquez again. A really top level goalkeeper Manchester United have, as they now drive forward through Claudino, up the pitch, trying to get themselves in a really good position as well. They work it well. They're still going. Good defending though from West Ham in the end. The highlight carries on. Reed in the midfield for Man U is one I was keeping an eye on. An absolutely phenomenal looking player. Jamaican international. Doesn't happen very often that you get some obscure nations with some top level talent. And Manchester United take the lead 4 minutes into the game. Literally, it was 4 minutes and 2 seconds in the exact same time that Newcastle scored in the FA Cup final. After that great start, Man U are in the lead. Gomez, Cruz, Alonso, Boxleitner, Reichner, Novelay, Zakina, Wright, Kabamba, Sabanda and Makoko make the starting 11 for West Ham in this Champions League final. It's still 1-0 to Manchester United, and West Ham have it all to do. And they're going to have to be really good to beat Lucas Vasquez in goal. Oh, it's early doors, and it's attack, and that's just the way I do things. Anyone that's watched me long enough knows that if it isn't working, then I will go attack and open myself up to the more potential attacks by the opposing team. Manchester United on the football now, and they're passing it around quite nicely as Musiala has a long-range effort and it dribbles just wide of the post. But statistically in the game, you can see West Ham very much on top, but it's not quite happening though, is it, in front of goal just yet in the game. I'm sure it will come in time. Cruz with the throw in into Kabamba. Now Nicholas Wright, who drops the shoulder and goes around the player. That's a good ball. Not to be though, as that one is headed away. And that was very close from Makoko, nearly nicking the ball off the defender. An almost embarrassing moment for him. Alfonso goes back to Gomez, now into Boxleitner, comes wide to Reicher, back to Boxleitner. who drives out from the defence. It's good football. It's patient football. It's what West Ham need at the moment. Nicholas Wright, he goes past his man. It's really good from him, and it's a lovely touch from Makoko. But is the goal gonna stand, or is it gonna be offside? It was lovely work from Nicholas Wright, and the goal is awarded, and West Ham level it up in the Champions League final against Manchester United. A lovely piece of football from Nicholas Wright to start, and then a phenomenal touch and pass past the goalkeeper for Yusufu Makoko, who has probably been the best signing I've ever made. Unbelievable player. Ball comes in. What a point blank save that is from the goalkeeper. Another really well worked Manchester United attack, but this time saved. Throw in is taken away from them though. Sabanda driving forward. He's gone long over the top. It's a good header on to Nicholas Wright, and unfortunately he just can't get any power in the shot. It's a very back and forth game, kind of to be expected when these two teams face off against one another. Makoko lines up the free kick, and Makoko scores! The free kick past Vasquez. I said it was going to have to be special to beat them, and the 2 goals thus far by West Ham United have been everything but that. They have been absolutely phenomenal. Heading into half time, West Ham on the ascendancy, absolutely loving life at the moment. And Manchester United don't really have an answer for Yusufu Makoko, do they? He's on a hat-trick in a Champions League final. Half-time. We get into the team this time. I was a little unhappy with how easy it was for Manchester United at times in that first half. And we expected a bit more from the West Ham team in the second. Slightly on top of that statistical side of the game now. They are controlling the possession though, which is a little bit of a worry where I'm concerned. But the game continues, gang, and it continues rather nicely for us because we are still in the lead and we now have a throw-in. Sabanda into Makoko. That's a lovely return pass, reverse pass even into Kabamba, who just couldn't do anything with it. It's really unlucky that it ended up on his left foot, predominantly right-footed, but what a pass that was from Makoko. Free kick now. And Kabamba, ball in! Makoko scores! But is it onside? We're about to find out if he's got himself a Champions League final hat-trick. And he doesn't. It's been chalked off. The drama continues as West Ham are still in the lead, but Manchester United just 1 goal away from drawing it up and taking it to extra time. Noble comes off. Reyes onto the football pitch. Open to freshen up that midfield area with not long to go, just 25 minutes left in the game. It's anybody's for the taking. It really, really is at the moment. Look at West Ham's shot count though, 17 with 10 on target. That is ridiculous consistency in front of goal, but it just shows you how good Lucas Vasquez has been for Manchester United. Sabanda not having the greatest of games, it does have to be said. A little bit of a struggle in this one. He is going to make way. We're going to go Nicholas Wright out on the left-hand side, and we're going to bring Perea on. We're going to go to an inside forward for Perea. We're going to do him on attack. We are still very attacking, gang. We've left it on that for the entirety of the game because we just upped the pace and we just upped the effort the minute we went to that against Manchester United. So it would seem futile to kind of go away from that mentality in the game. Keeper kicks it out. And that's really poor defending. It does have to be said from the right back. As now Musiala is through with players up in support. He can't get his cross off as Reyes Neal's defending was so good. They're going to get it back though. And they're coming forward again. Windsor goes wide. It's really good passing, but the shot is dragged wide. It was phenomenal football from Manchester United. It really, really was. But they're going to get nothing from it. Corner now. Makoko, ball in. We rose high to get the header. It didn't come off. Makoko, it's still there. It's bobbling. It's in! It's Reyes Neal with the goal. The difference maker from the bench as he scores to put West Ham 3-1 up with just minutes to go in the game. What an absolutely phenomenal effort. Ovchinnikov comes on for Kabamba, who has played his part in the final. But Rhys Neal, it appears, is going to be the hero on the day. He gives West Ham breathing room, and it was Perea with the assist. Unbelievable effort from two of the substitutes. 4 minutes to go. It's going to be another Champions League winning final for West Ham United by the looks of things. Ball into Jones, it's over the top, it's into Windsor, he finds Voss, his volley's vicious, but it goes wide of the post. Too little, too late, unfortunately, for Manchester United. West Ham, they line up a free kick, it's headed over the bar, they don't care, that's going to waste all the time in the world as the time is ticking down even, and ball over the top. Well headed, it's Perea on it, he's going to run it into the corner, there he finds Cruz, it's just easy, we've just got to look after the football, and it's another European title, it's a lovely ball into Nicholas Wright, it's really good, it's Ovchinnikov, oh he went for glory at the end, but it doesn't matter, as West Ham are Champions League final winners once again. And so as far as our domestic campaign is concerned, this is how it ended up, my friends. A absolutely wonderful season for West Ham. Again, didn't quite hit that 100-point mark we have done a few times, but 99 points and a very big difference away from Manchester United see us finish the season really, really strongly. As far as domestic football is concerned, we won the lot this season. Absolutely phenomenal year. Now, the last thing I need to do before we sign out on today's episode is catch you up with what happened with England. And so my season with England has gone very, very well. I'm going to be honest with you, gang. I've actually got a final to show you in a moment. Yes, this is a long episode, but it was always going to be that way because we needed to condense a whole season into one video. But as you can see, it started off nicely. A 3-3 against Germany in the UEFA Nations League group, and it was a Joe Abubakar equaliser in the 89th minute. To be fair to Germany, they dominated the game. We didn't deserve it, but we got it. A 2-1 victory against Russia followed, with Jack Colvin scoring both the goals. Then it was Hungary up next, and it was a 6-0 victory. Colvin, Neil, Vernon and Sabander with the goals. Russia, a 3-0 victory in this one. Chanchum 5, Vernon and Leslie all scored the goals. Then it was Germany again, and it was a rather more convincing victory. 3-1 in this one, Windsor with a 95th minute goal. Hungary were up next, a 1-0 victory. Amari Greenidge saved the day. But I say saved the day, he scored it on the 4th minute. We then move into the year of 2035, and you will see we have got our qualification underway. A 9-1 victory against Azerbaijan. Windsor, Colvin, Abubakar, Chumfight and Neil with the goals, and a 6-1 victory against Bosnia and Herzegovina. And if you're seeing a little cut there, it's because I was using the wrong save file. But yeah, as you can see, a 1-0 victory then followed with Spain in the semi-final, and it booked us a final spot against France, and you're now going to see how that played out. And so here we go. Our first international final as the Nations Cup Final is about to take place, as it's England taking on France. Interesting final, this one. It does have to be said, doesn't it? You can see it's being played in front of 68,500 fans, and we're really going to see where England are at. Rhys James is still playing. We've got Aqua, Vernon at centre-back, Tom Overton at left-back. We've got Rhys Neal and Bellingham in the midfield, Wright and Sabander on the wings, Harvey Elliott through the middle, and Jack Colvin up top. A lot of those names are going to mean absolutely nothing to you, but you know who Sabander, Wright, Neal and Overton are because they play for West Ham, and you're probably going to know who Rhys James and Harvey Elliott are as well. Still going strong. And I mean really strong. You know, like Bellingham in the midfield as well. They're all in their early 30s. It's amazing to think that they're all still going to be kind of playing football, at this point in their careers. Like in real life, hopefully, if all should go well. Rhys James now into Nicholas Wright, who is going to come back and find Rhys James again. Aqua into Vernon, into Overton, into Sabander. It's really good, tidy football from England, playing a similar formation to what we've been playing at West Ham. Nicholas Wright, no, it's a ball in, it's heading, and it's just over the bar. That West Ham connection coming into effect in the game. I will say that France's team is elite. I mean, really elite. It's unbelievable. A lot of them are regens, but they are of a ridiculous quality. They've still got Camavinga in the midfield, as you can see. He's like a ridiculous talent on this game. Joel Engar in the goal is a regen goalkeeper who I've kind of looked at as potential replacement for Gomez. There's some good players, some really good players in that France team. It's a bit of a boring final, though. Both teams cancelling each other out, unfortunately, at the moment. Just the one shot for France, a few for England, slightly on top of the possession, but you would come to expect that from one of my teams. You're going to see that Holland beating France in the third for the third place of the UEFA Nations Cup. That's really interesting. Spain obviously were the team that we had to beat to make it to the final. They've been beat again by Holland. Half-time 0-0, underwhelming. It's not a very good final, and I just kind of find this is what international football's like in real life. And unfortunately, I've not been able to change that in this save, unfortunately. But we head on into the second half, and we've got to hope that we get stuff done. Energy levels are a little low for a few players. A lot of this is because we've had to play games quite close together for the national team in the latter stages of this competition. It's just one of those things, gang. And obviously, we are at the end of the season. The players should be on the beach, but are instead having to play international football for their national team. We're going to make a change, and it's going to be Windsor on for Nicholas Wright. Windsor, a very good player. Not really been able to get the best out of him just yet for England, but he is still good nonetheless. As France come forward, and that's going to be a shot from Camavinga, and it's over the bar. It's not that good at all, is it? It's a woeful final. It's a really woeful final. I don't really know what to say right now. There's just not really much to talk about and commentate on. We are going to make some tactical tweaks to make sure that the French team are not going to be able to get ahead of steam and have anything on us. We are going to make another change, and it's going to be Chan Chun Fai coming on for Jack Colvin. He's been a really good player for us as Chun Fai so far at international level. I've given him his debut, and he's rewarded by scoring me some very important goals, and I absolutely love it. 72 minutes into the game, France very much on top of the shot count. We've not really done much in this second half. We've really been poor, but France, though, really, really going for it, aren't they? Overton into Bellingham, now into Chun Fai, back to Bellingham, through to Reyes, nil, and he can't score. It's a poor effort in the end. He went for power over placement, and the goalkeeper was better to it. Corner comes in. It's a nice attempt at a header, but it's not to be. It was a really good effort, though, from Rhys Neal. Harvey Elliott is going to be the next one to come off for Joe Abubakar. We are trying to keep it fresh in the team. Abubakar's been the hero in other games already this season for us, and I'm hoping he can be a hero once again in this UEFA Nations League final. A weird old competition in real life. I don't know how I feel about the Nations League, but if we win this, it's going to be an international title, and something England really need as they've continued to be perennial underachievers in this universe of Football Manager. Ball comes back to France's goalkeeper. There's just 5 minutes on the clock before added on time, and that's a good header. It comes out though. Overton switches the play. It's into Windsor. He's going to drive on through, and it's a really weak effort in the end. It has to be better than that if he wants to put the ball in the back of the net. Free kick. England applying pressure. The header is over the bar this time. The shot count is starting to match up. The possession is starting to ease into our favour. Are England on the ascendancy as normal time is about to end? Just 4 minutes added on, and then it will be extra time and potentially penalties in this UEFA Cup. This UEFA Nations League final. I'm going to tell the boys I'm not happy, because I'm not happy. We should be winning this game based on chances and possession. I think that we should be very much ahead. Windsor wins the header there out wide, but it's gone back to a French player. Ball continues with French players at French players' feet. They drive forward. It's with Duquet, and he shoots, and it's over the bar. And you know what? For as bad as we've been, France have matched us. They've been terrible themselves. They've not really had any proper clear-cut opportunities, even with all of the talent at their disposal. But then you could say that has something to do with this England team and the way that I've set them up. Good tackling there from England. Really good bite in the midfield trying to win it. But then we give it away with a useless long ball, and it's something that I've told the team to avoid. But they still pass over the top like that. And France have a really good opportunity, and the shot gets dragged wide of the post. I'm berating the team. I'm getting angry. I'm not happy that France are starting to work their way back into it in extra time. We're going to do some usual tactical work with the changes. Aqua into Vernon now. He into the midfield with Bellingham. He receives it back. Touch to Aqua. It's nice stuff, but not really going anywhere with it. It's into Bellingham again. It's into Abubakar. It's a pass. It's Chai Chun-Fai! And he scores the opening goal of the Nations League final. It's a phenomenal effort. A lovely pass through. And I've told you, he's been repaying the faith I've put in him with every single game by scoring me some all-important goals. First half of extra time is nearly at an end, and then we move in to the second half. Sabanda goes down with an injury though, and that's concerning because he's one of West Ham's mainstays, and if this is a bad one, not only is it going to affect England, but it's going to affect the club team as a result too. I'm not sure who to bring on. I'm not aware of who's actually plays these positions for England, but we're going to bring Kevin Guest on and hope that he can do a job out on the left wing. We've only got 15 minutes to go, so hopefully he can hold things down on that left wing and help England lift their first trophy. As you can see, extra time, and now we've got the second half of extra time to play, and then that job will be done. It will be over. England would have broken the curse. They'll finally have an international trophy to their name heading into the Euros next year. Just 10 minutes to go in the game now. France are really applying the pressure. Lots of shots, but there's a header and it hits the post. It's a really good corner. England with another brilliant chance. So why have we waited to play our best stuff until extra time? There's 5 minutes to go. Are England going to do it? Or will France grab themselves the all-important goal to take it to penalties? As things stand, it doesn't look that way. Just a couple of minutes to go. We're in to extra time. In extra time, a minute to go. England are gonna do it. There we have it. An international trophy to my name. And so after quite the ridiculous season, we won it all. Not just with West Ham, but with England as well. We go into the European qualifications next season full of absolute hope, hoping to make it to the European Championship knockout stages. But this is how the Hall of Fame looks as a result, gang. We are up to third in the list. But look at what's the most interesting thing of all. Pep Guardiola is now top of the pile. How much longer are we going to have to play if Pep Guardiola keeps winning things? But we are now on third place with 11 domestic divisions, 10 domestic cups, 10 other trophies, 1 international trophy, 4,961 points on the board. Surely one more ultra successful season and we will become the Hall of Famer. And so there we have it, my friends. We're done and dusted for another season of the Hall of Famer. Next season will be split into 4 parts, gang. There's a reason for it, and I want you to kind of just join me. Just join me for it in the 4 parts, okay? I'm trying to not kind of make this any longer than it needs to be, but I just feel like trying to condense the last episode down with the amount of stuff I've got to do might be a little bit too much. But yeah, join me for it. That is going to be the last season of the series. So I'm a little sad because it means we're going to be putting this to bed. But I've already started my prep for FM23, and there's going to be more Football Manager coming to the channel. But my friends, I am done and dusted for now. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. But until next time, stay safe, stay humble. Saluting you all. See you all later.